I am finally going to be doing another cooking video for you guys. I haven't been able to just because we've been moving and things have been really crazy. So I'm really excited to be able to share another one with you guys today. So we left Florida a couple weeks ago and are currently in Tennessee. So that is going to change up how I am meal prepping a little bit this week. We are in an Airbnb, so we're kind of like using the equipment that they have here, which is basically everything, but it's a little bit different than what we usually use. And then also, since we're in Tennessee right now, it is tomato season, and we have been gifted tons and tons of tomatoes. So I'm gonna base a lot of our recipes on the tomatoes that we've been gifted because, you know, we're big on budgeting and using what we have. So I'm going to be making like a homemade pasta sauce. Also, my husband's grandmother's love language is giving food to people, just likes to make sure that everybody has food to eat. So once a month, she goes to Sam's and buys a whole bunch of food for everybody in her family. And she has gifted us a huge box of pasta. So I think that that will go perfectly with our homemade pasta sauce. So between the free pasta and the free tomatoes, our pasta meal this week is going to be very inexpensive for us. The other meal we're going to be making is going to be a barbecue mushroom and sweet potato wrap. We are going to be going to the farmer's market in just a minute. That's actually what we're getting ready to do now. And we're going to be getting some fresh local produce, including some oyster mushrooms. Oyster mushrooms are really cool because you can kind of like shred them up and they kind of take on the form of chicken. And they're just really cool and kind of unique to cook with. Mushrooms are also very healthy for you. So the stuff we're going to be buying from the farmer's market is going to be a lot of local produce. If you have a garden, you might have a lot of this stuff already and not even have to buy it. Because we're just here temporarily, we of course don't have our own garden. So we're just gonna go support local businesses at the farmer's market. And then when we get home, I will show you how I cook all of our meals, and I will link recipes. I think the only recipe I'm actually using this week is for the pasta sauce, and everything else I will show you what I do. And then for breakfast, we're gonna be having oatmeal, which we always eat oatmeal, but I'll probably show you how I do that anyway. So let's go to the farmer's market. This is the farmer's market in downtown Knoxville at Market Square. If you've never been to downtown Knoxville, I highly recommend you go and visit because it is such a cool little artsy area that is perfect for families. Knoxville also has great programs for low-income families. For example, at this farmer's market, if you receive food stamps, you get double bucks on all of the fresh produce at the farmer's market. I'm just gonna grab some fresh basil for the pasta sauce. And then also some lettuce for our wraps that we're gonna have. Do you want it? Let me get some green leaf lettuce also. So is that what we got before?
It looks like when we...
There's also a lot of crafty stuff here, and my oldest daughter likes to crochet and is considering setting up her own booth to make a little bit of extra money.
This one's my favorite.
We also grabbed some sprouts to go on our wrap.
Look at this cutie patootie right there. You're so cute. You're so cute.
One of the really awesome parts about being in Tennessee after living in Florida for a few years is that while Tennessee is really hot at the end of the day, it starts off pretty cool in the morning. And it's just really nice to get away from the heat for at least part of the day. Okay, who's seen the Barbie movie? I took my daughter to go see it last week for her birthday, and we both kind of teared up during it. What about you guys? Have you seen it? And if so, what did you think about it? We all got hungry looking at everything, so we decided to grab this loaf of like rosemary and olive oil bread. I can't really remember what it was called, but it was delicious, and we all sat there and devoured almost the whole thing. Knoxville also just has a whole bunch of free activities for the family, and I'm going to be doing a video in the future about all the cool free things that you can do in the Knoxville area. Let me know if that's something you guys would be interested in. So here's everything for the pasta sauce that I'm going to use. We did go to Aldi's and get a few other ingredients that we didn't get at the farmer's market just because Aldi's is super inexpensive. Garlic was the only thing in this pile of stuff that came from Aldi's. And then that onion we had left over from last week because we went to the farmer's market last week also. And it was just a ginormous onion that we didn't finish up. So we're going to put the rest of that in the pasta sauce. And then I'm just adding a little bit of pepper and salt. And then the recipe didn't call for any other vegetables, but I always like to add some extra vegetables to my pasta sauce. So I got some carrots and also some zucchini that I am adding to this recipe. And then I am just gonna blanch the tomatoes by dropping them in boiling water for 2 to 3 minutes and then removing them and letting them cool on a sheet pan. Once they've cooled down quite a bit, they are really easy to peel, and you just peel the outside of them off and then dice them up. And then you just let everything simmer for about 2 hours. You will want to wait until the very end to add the fresh basil, otherwise it'll have a bitter taste. Right. And then of course I just need to boil some noodles. And then I made everybody some garlic bread and used some of our little Tommy Toad tomatoes to make some like stuff to go on top of the garlic bread. I just put a little bit of olive oil and fresh basil and garlic. And this is the final meal for the big people. And then the penne noodles were just a little bit big for our baby to be able to eat. So we blended them up in this little blender and they had some of the pasta also. Is that good? Say yum. Is it good?
Birth means yes.
So I'm editing this video and I realized that I didn't mention this, and I know I'm gonna get a lot of questions about this. So we eat kind of differently than other families. What we do is we basically eat the same thing for breakfast, lunch, and dinner all week, and I batch prep these meals. So the pasta we'll be eating every day for dinner, and then the mushroom sweet potato wraps we'll eat every day for lunch, and then we have oatmeal every day for breakfast. So just so you know why I'm cooking so much of this, it is going to last us for the entire week. And the reason we do this is just because it saves us a lot of money and a lot of time. I only have to spend one day in the kitchen cooking, and the rest of the week I can spend my time doing other things. And here are all the ingredients for the barbecue mushroom sweet potato wraps. This is just for the filling part of the wrap. We'll also add some like fresh produce to the wrap once all this gets cooked. You could cook the sweet potatoes in the oven, but it takes a lot longer and uses more electricity. So I just cook them in the microwave. It's really fast. We're gonna season them on the skillet and cook them a little bit more anyway. So I'm just gonna microwave them. So once the sweet potatoes are done and cooled down, you're just gonna peel them and dice them. And then you're also going to dice up an onion. And then also some garlic. And then with the mushrooms, you're just gonna kind of peel them down from the top. The base of them, kind of where the stem is a little bit tougher than the top. So instead of having like a bunch of like stem pieces, if you peel them slowly down, then you kind of get a little bit of the tougher stem with the soft part in the top, and it just works out a lot better. This type of mushroom is an oyster mushroom, and there are blue oyster mushrooms and then red oyster mushrooms. The blue ones have a softer base to them, which is why we get the blue instead of the red. The red's still fine. It's just the base is just a little bit more tough. And then I just cook everything on the skillet. I cooked all this for a couple minutes before I added the mushrooms. And then for the barbecue sauce, I'm just using some of this cheap stuff from Aldi's, but you could also make your own barbecue sauce if you wanted something a little bit healthier. But I'm all about balance, and I'm okay to use some store-bought barbecue sauce to save me a little bit of time. And then you just cook it down until it's perfect, which is about 15 minutes. Now it's time to put together our wrap. First, I like to spread a little bit of hummus on the wrap. Then I add the filling. We got a couple different types of lettuce at the farmer's market, so I just put a little bit of both of those on there. Some red pepper flakes, half of a tomato, and then some of the sprouts. And then we were also gifted some homemade pickles. My mother-in-law knows how much I love pickles, so she made me these. And then my wrap was overflowing, so, you know, you have to hold it together because it's so full of deliciousness. So in the morning, I've just been making oatmeal for me and the baby because everybody else makes their own oatmeal. They wake up later or just have their own particular way of making it. So this is just all the ingredients that I am using for the two of us. I do 3/4 of a cup of old-fashioned oats with 1.5 cups of water and a little bit of cinnamon. While that is cooking, I just slice up some strawberries for my oatmeal. And I use a banana as the sweetener. I cut up a few slices to put on top of mine, but the rest of it, I just mash it up to put in it after it's cooked, and it adds just a bit of sweetness to it. Today I decided to add a little bit of peanut butter to the baby's oatmeal. You got to put the peanut butter under that hot oatmeal and it gets it to melt, so it stirs in there very easily. And then I just add some baby food prunes. We don't use a whole lot of baby food, but prunes help to keep everybody regular, so that's always good. You don't want a stopped up baby. Breakfast is required the second Falcon wakes up every morning, so I have to make sure that it is ready to go. Oatmeal is definitely a favorite food around here. Before we left Florida, we were renovating our kitchen, and we had about 3 weeks where we really didn't have a functional kitchen at all. So I did a video on some budget-friendly no-cook meals that my family ate during that time. And then we did have a crock pot, so I did another week of like really affordable crock pot meals. So if you're interested in either one of those videos, I will put them right here for you guys to check out. Let me know down below if you are gonna try either one of these recipes. And thank you guys so much for watching, and I will talk to you next time.